Phil clicked his mandibles together 3 times. This was the worst problem he had faced in 15 years as security chief. Behind the reinforced glass wall, something massive moved in the shadows. Something that had already killed 2 of his guards. The creature was called a terror hound. It came from Skarath, a world where everything wanted to kill you. The beast stood taller than most cargo containers. 6 thick legs supported a body covered in gray, black-armored scales. 3 rows of crystal-sharp teeth lined its mouth. Those teeth could bite through starship metal like paper. 3 days ago, a smuggler tried to bring it through Blackwater Station. The fool thought he could sell it to some rich collector. But the terror hound broke free. It crushed one guard with its massive paws. The other guard tried to run. The creature was faster. Now the beast paced back and forth in the containment cell. It snarled at everything. Every few minutes it threw itself against the walls. The whole corridor shook when it hit. Brill had tried everything. Sleeping gas did nothing. The creature had 3 sets of lungs. It just breathed through different ones. Sonic weapons only made it angrier. Stun fields drained half the station's power without even slowing it down. 4 different animal handlers came to look at the beast. All 4 refused to go near it. One handler was from a species that trained war beasts for armies. Even that one took a single look and said no. The station council met that morning. They gave Vril 48 hours to solve this problem. If he could not, they would open the outer doors and blow the entire containment section into space. Terror hound and all, the problem was bigger than just the creature. The containment section held critical life support systems, computers that recycled air and water for the whole station. Losing those systems would take months to fix and cost more money than the station had. Vil stood in front of the council chambers after the meeting. He had no ideas left. Nothing worked. The creature could not be calmed, could not be moved, could not be controlled. A human transport ship docked at the station while he stood there. Humans were still fairly new to galactic society. Strange creatures from a heavy-gravity world. They looked soft and weak, but somehow survived on a planet that should have killed them all. Several humans walked past Vril toward the commercial district. Most ignored him. Then one stopped. This human was male somewhere in his middle years. He wore a worn jacket covered in patches from different shipping companies. His hair was dark with some gray in it. He looked tired. "That your problem?" the human asked, pointing at the containment section. Vil did not understand the question at first. His translator had trouble with human casual speech patterns. "The creature?" the human clarified. "The one making all that noise." VR could hear it even here. The terror hound's growls echoed through the station's metal corridors. "Yes," Vril said. "That is my problem." The human tilted his head, listening. "Sounds scared." Vil's mandibles clicked in confusion. "Scared? That creature has killed. It attacks anything that approaches. It is rage and violence, maybe," the human said. "Or maybe it is just scared and does not know what else to do." This made no sense to Vril. Terror hounds are apex predators. They fear nothing. The human shrugged. "Everything fears something." "Has anyone tried talking to it?" "It is non-sapient," Vil explained. "It cannot understand speech." "I did not say talking with words," the human said. "I meant, talking, body language, tone showing it there is nothing to be afraid of." Vril stared at the human. This was possibly the strangest conversation he'd ever had. "You think that creature can be communicated with? Maybe mind if I take a look?" Vil should have said no. Humans were fragile compared to most species. If something went wrong, there would be another death to report. But Vril was out of options and out of time. "Follow me," he said. The human walked beside him through the corridors. "I am Owen, by the way. Owen Decker. I haul freight between systems. Nothing exciting. I am Security Chief Vil. Nice to meet you, Chief." They reached the observation area. Through the thick glass, the terror hound prowled its cell. Up close, it was even more terrifying. Each claw was as long as Vril's arm. The creature's eyes glowed a pale yellow in the dim light. Owen pressed his hands against the glass and watched. He said nothing for several minutes. The terror hound noticed him and charged the glass. Owen did not flinch. The beast hit the barrier hard enough to crack it slightly. Then it backed away and resumed pacing. "How long has it been since it ate?" Owen asked. 3 days. "It will not touch food. But it drinks water." "Yes, when no one is watching." Owen nodded slowly. "It is terrified," he said quietly. "How can you possibly know that?" Owen pointed. "See how it always faces the door, never turns its back. That is defensive behavior. And watch when it paces. It checks every corner of the cell. It is looking for escape routes or hidden threats. This is not aggression. This is fear. Brill looked closer. He had watched this creature for 3 days but never noticed these patterns. It was taken from its home, Owen continued, stuffed in a cage, hauled through space, then left in a metal box with strange smells and sounds everywhere. It has no idea where it is or what will happen next. Of course it is scared. That changes nothing, Vil said. Scared or not, it is killed. It will kill again. Maybe, Owen said. Or maybe it just needs someone to show it that not everything here wants to hurt it. You think you can do that? Owen looked at the terror hound for a long moment. I have gentled scared animals before, farm animals mostly, a few wild ones. The principle is the same. You show them respect. You give them space. You let them come to you on their terms. That creature is not a farm animal. No. Owen agreed. But fear is fear and trust is trust. Those things work the same everywhere. VR wanted to refuse. This was madness. But 48 hours was not much time and he had no better options. If I allow this, there will be conditions, VR said. You wear protective gear, security team standing by, and you have 1 hour maximum. Owen shook his head. No protective gear. It will sense that as a threat. I will take an emergency beacon, but that is all. That is suicide. Maybe. But armor and weapons will not help anyway. If it wants to kill me, it will. My only chance is convincing it not to want that. Vil clicked his mandibles. Humans were either very brave or very stupid. Possibly both. One more thing, Owen said. I need the cameras in the cell turned off. Why? Because being watched makes frightened animals more defensive. It needs privacy to calm down. This was highly irregular. But then everything about this situation was irregular. I will need to ask the council, Vil said. 2 hours later, Owen stood in front of the containment cell door. He carried a large sack of raw meat over one shoulder. Behind him, Vril and 12 armed guards waited with weapons ready. Last chance to change your mind, Vril said. Owen took a deep breath. Open the door. The door slid open with a hiss of hydraulics. The terror hound's growl shook the corridor like thunder. Owen stepped inside. The door closed behind him with a heavy clang. Through the external monitoring system, Vril watched the bio readings. The terror hound's heart rate spiked, but Owen's reading stayed remarkably calm. Inside that cell, VR thought was either the bravest human in the galaxy or the craziest, possibly both. Now they would see if human madness could succeed where galactic logic had failed. The containment cell door sealed shut. Owen stood alone with the most dangerous creature on Blackwater Station. The terror hound crouched at the far end of the room. All 6 legs were tensed like springs. Its head hung low, lips pulled back to show every single one of those crystalline teeth. The growl never stopped. It was a deep rumble that Owen felt in his bones, like standing next to a running engine. The sound filled every corner of the cell. Owen did not move forward. He did not try to make eye contact. Instead, he walked slowly to the left side of the door and sat down on the floor, his back pressed against the cold metal wall. The sack of meat rested beside him. The terror hound watched every movement. Its pale yellow eyes tracked Owen like targeting lasers, but it did not attack. Not yet. Owen kept his breathing slow and steady. He'd been in situations like this before. Not with anything this big or this deadly, but the basics were the same. Let the animal observe. Let it realize you are not a threat. Minutes passed. The growl continued, but something changed in its tone. Less aggressive, more uncertain. The creature was confused. Every other being that entered the cell either attacked immediately or tried to run. This strange small thing didn't neither. Outside in the security office, Vil stared at the monitoring screens. He could not see inside the cell because Owen requested privacy, but biome monitors showed both life signs. The terror hound's heart rate waislevated, but not in full attack mode. The human's vitals were impossibly calm. How could anyone sit that still in the presence of a killer? 20 minutes crawled by. Owen sat motionless. He watched the walls, the floor, anywhere except directly at the creature. Direct eye contact meant challenge in most animal species. Better to appear disinterested. Finally, Owen reached into the sack. His movements were slow, careful, deliberate. He pulled out a chunk of raw meat. It was larger than his head. Head did not throw it, did not wave it around. He simply placed it on the floor halfway between himself and the terror hound. Then he pulled his hand back and looked away. The growling grew louder for a moment, then stopped completely. Silence filled the cell for the first time in 3 days. Owen kept looking at the wall, pretending not to notice. He could hear the creature breathing. Heavy breaths that whistled slightly through its nostrils. Minutes passed in silence. Then came a new sound, claws clicking on metal. The terror hound was moving. Owen did not turn his head. He did not tense up. He just sat there breathing slowly, letting the animal make its own choices. The clicking stopped. Owen could feel the creature's presence near the meat. He heard sniffing sounds, long, deep inhalations as the terror hound investigated this offering. Was it poisoned? Was it a trap? Then in one quick motion, the creature grabbed the meat and retreated. Owen heard it moving back to the far corner. He still did not look. He just sat there patient, calm, showing no threat. The sound of eating filled the cell, tearing, crunching. The terror hound was hungry. 3 days without food would make any creature desperate. Owen waited until the sound stopped. Then he reached into the sack again. Another piece of meat. Same routine. Place it on the floor. Pull hand back, look away. This time the terror hound approached faster. Still cautious but less fearful. It snatched the meat and retreated, but not as far as before. Progress. Owen repeated this process 2 more times. Each time the creature came closer. Each time it retreated a little less. On the 4th piece of meat, something changed. The terror hound took the meat but did not back away. Instead, it settled down right there, only a few meters from Owen. It ate while watching him, testing, waiting to see what this strange being would do. Owen did nothing. He just sat there breathing, existing, being present without being threatening. This was the key to working with frightened animals. You had to show them that sharing space with you was safe. When the meat was gone, the terror hound did not move away. It sat there, head tilted slightly to one side, studying Owen with those glowing yellow eyes. Owen recognized that look. He had seen it in horses and cattle and dogs. That shift from fear to curiosity. The moment when an animal stopped seeing you as a threat and started wondering what you were, very slowly moving as if underwater. Owen extended his hand, palm down, fingers relaxed and slightly curved, non-threatening. This was body language that most creatures understood. An offering, a question. May I approach? The terror hound stared at his hand. Its nostrils flared, taking in his scent. Owen could smell the creature too, like hot stone and something metallic. Not unpleasant, just different. Seconds stretched into minutes. Neither moved. Then the terror hound leaned forward. Its head was massive, easily the size of Owen's entire torso. One bite and it would be over, but Owen kept his hand steady, kept his breathing calm, showed no fear. The creature sniffed.